Hi, everyone. Welcome to your Self-Helpless snack, where we give you a little taste of Self-Helpless via a mini episode. I'm Delaney Fisher, and today I'm sharing a bite from Dr. Sahar Martinez, who owns a group therapy practice. And we have so many therapists on the podcast who share their expertise and offer up what helps their clients heal. So today, Dr. Sahar is actually giving us some insight into things that help her as someone who is in this kind of role. She's sharing a peek behind the scenes of how she has set up her practice, the approach of abundance that she has when it comes to connecting with other practitioners and clients, some of the pressures that her and other clinicians have, but often aren't talked about openly. And even if you don't work in this field or anything related to it, the themes of abundance, grounding yourself in your values, cultivating community, and caring for yourself first before you take care of others are things we can all implement into our lives. So here's my chat with Dr. Sahar. What does your practice look like? How many people? Who are you serving? All that good stuff.
There are 9 of us total now,
Awesome.
10 including like our social media manager.
Okay.
And so it's a good dynamic that we have where, we're all female and female identified. We serve literally everybody from kids to adults to couples and duos and partners and families. Yeah, we all come from the same place of being like client centered, but we all do it in different ways. And so I think that's like the really beautiful part of our work is that I do work from like an attachment, somatic, internal family systems lens, and there are other clinicians here who also do similar work, and we do it differently. And so when I have like an email come my way saying I'm looking for someone who does attachment based work, maybe some inner child work, I have like 3 clinicians that I can refer them to other than myself. And so that feels really nice in the sense of like we are able to serve like a large amount of people in a way that feels really authentic to who we are. And we're also in community with so many other therapists outside of our practice where like if we can't meet somebody's needs, like we're always referring to other people. And I think that's like the abundance part of it is that like I really believe that like we only win when we all win. And
Yes.
so, and so it's like we have there's a practice or it's a co-working space downstairs from us that is for therapists only. And we refer down there. We have a bunch of friends and colleagues who work down there, and we refer to them all the time. And that just feels great. And they come up and like hang out in our office and, whatever. But there's probably like 100 therapists down there that we refer to. And so I just feel like we're in a place where like everyone is really committed to their own practice, but also to like the group in general. And that feels really, really great.
What you just said is so important because so many people would view the people downstairs as competition. Like let's keep everything in house. We'll be friendly, and we'll maybe we'll give a trickle here or there. But just the way that you're operating is so important for people to hear that there's room for everybody to do their thing. So, what is the kind of snapshot of all the people that work with you? Can you share a little bit about that?
I'm really selective on who I work with. And I keep my practice intentionally very small. And that was partially like I was teaching for a long time. I'm like on sabbatical from that right now. Um, and so it was to accommodate like my teaching schedule. And now it's really to just accommodate like myself. I also look for people who do the things that I don't do. Like I don't work with kids or minors. When I like interview somebody, I want to know if they're able to fulfill a need that I personally can't fulfill.
Beautiful. Yeah. Fill in
And
the
so
gaps.
fill the gaps. Yeah. So I have 2 clinicians on my team who are 3, sorry, 3 clinicians on my team who do EMDR. There are 3 of us who do brain spotting, myself included. I work with couples and duos and partners. I have 2 other clinicians who also work with couples and duos and partners. And yeah, we're like an open referral base to one another. So oftentimes like I will see one member of a family, I'll refer someone else, another member of the family to somebody else, and they'll decide the kids need support. And so we'll bring the kids in to see somebody and then we collaborate on the work together, which feels really like really powerful for our clients in order to say like, hey, look, like let's get together for a family session and each of your individual therapists can be there to support you during that time.
Right.
And that feels really nice. So like, yes, there absolutely like we're not all doing the exact same thing. We don't all work from the same modality and there is overlap. And I think the overlap is necessary.
And why do you think the overlap is necessary? Why is that a benefit?
Because I think that just because someone like checks off all your boxes doesn't mean that they're a right fit for you. We're person centered in the work that we do. And so you might be my ideal client and our personalities might not mesh, and that's okay. And so if I'm sitting with you and I'm noticing like visibly that you're uncomfortable sitting with me, and or that I'm not comfortable sitting with you, that is like a red flag for me. There is something here that either I need to work through as the clinician, and in order to make sure that you're getting the best level of care that you can get, I should probably refer you out. If I can refer you to someone on my team, great. And that also gives me some insight on some work that I need to do as a clinician to say, like, why was this so activating for me?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Just yeah, it's more than just checking off the boxes. It's something a lot deeper than that. Where do you envision this going next?
I would love to, my like ultimate vision, which I've actually never spoken about publicly before, but here we go.
Ooh.
I want to have like a wellness space that takes on like the mental health side of things, but also like the somatic side of things. And so there are like parts of my own like practice that I do regularly that I think are that support my mental health. And I would love to have a space that integrates both of those. And so like so I use like cold plunges and sauna and like infrared light as part of like my wellness. And I would love to have a space where like I could sit with my client for 50 minutes and then be like, okay, now go take the next 20 minutes and like let's do a 2-minute cold plunge and I can guide you through the breath work piece of it. And let's get in the sauna and then let's go sit in the infrared light and like really calm your nervous system.
Oh my God, where do I sign? Where do I sign up? Please. Can I be, can you put me on some kind of insider list where I'm the first person to know?
Yes.
What do you wish clinicians spoke more about with each other?
Everyone's afraid of failing, on so many different levels. I think people are afraid of failing their clients. They're afraid of failing in the business. They're afraid of failing as a clinician. They're afraid of getting too invested in this work and failing in their personal life. And I think at times we all like touch base into those spaces. And I don't think we talk about it enough.
That's got to be a lot of pressure. Is there anything that has helped you relieve that for yourself?
Therapy.
Okay.
Full transparency, like shout out to my therapist, Kim. Like I think that she is an absolute queen. However, I also know like for myself, when I meet with new clients, especially, I will always say like, hey, look, I really recommend that you talk to at least 2 other therapists before like we move forward in our work. And I'll give them referrals often because I equate like meeting with a therapist for the first time to like a blind date.
Yes.
You don't marry the first person you date.
I love the fact that you are doing that. That mindset of abundance, that there's enough for everybody, is just huge. And people feel that and then they want to come to you and they're drawn to you.
And there are times when you will work with a therapist for a long time and you'll be like, our work has come to an end, but my work in therapy hasn't. And that's also okay.
Yes.
Like your therapist welcomes you having that conversation with them to say, like, I feel like we've done all that we can do. What are my next steps? Can you help me navigate that?
Mm-hmm.
And a good therapist will be like, I hear you. Yeah, like tell me about what you want your next steps to look like. And let me see if I can connect you with a colleague that can support you through that. And I'm so grateful for the time that we've had together.
Right. You mentioned that you like the saunas and the plunges. Is there anything that you do to take care of yourself first before caring for other people? Maybe it's even in between sessions sometimes. What do you do for yourself?
Yeah, 2 big things are like meditation and bilateral movement, which is like a really fancy way of saying walking.
Okay.
um, but yeah, like meditation is a struggle with it a lot because that level of like sitting with myself is really challenging for me because my brain is always like on the go. But even just between clients, like going out for a walk, also in the way that I schedule clients, like I have a number, like I don't usually schedule more than 4 clients in a row. And even if I have more than 4 clients in a day, like I will have an hour break in between and then see the rest. And kind of the beauty about my practice is that I can go to the office right next door to mine and like sit with my friends. That's like really soul filling. And so sometimes it's that, sometimes it's going for a walk outside. Sometimes it is meditating. I always have a book with me, so I read sometimes. And sometimes I just flip my phone open and watch Love Island on Netflix. And like, that feels really restorative. So,
Yeah.
I think anything to like disconnect from me as a therapist and connect into like me as a human.
Thank you for tuning in to the Self-Helpless podcast. You can find our Patreon community, merch, and other goodies at selfhelplesspodcast.com. We'd be thrilled if you left an iTunes review, shared this episode with a friend, or post about it on Instagram and tag at Self-Helpless Podcast so we can repost you and say hi. Thanks, everyone.